let's get into it. We're going to jump around a little bit. Might even get a little dose of tennis today. So that's how you know it's good. Big tennis pod. But before that, we'll start with another guy you may be familiar with. LeBron James. LeBron James. And the Lakers take on the Rockets in a somewhat big Game 3, tied at 1 apiece. Houston, James Harden, Russ versus the Lake Show. And this was a really good game for a while. First quarter, 33-32, Houston. Second quarter, 31-29, Houston. Then, I think, BBD, the reason I want to make this the game of the night, there was some good baseball. There's a lot of good baseball. We'll get into that in a little bit. This was the first time I think we saw playoff basketball. Like the Nuggets and the Jazz Game 7, that was kind of playoff basketball, but that's because everybody was tired and like kind of not good.
That Luka game.
Luka, that's more, Luka just being special and kind of coming to the stage.
First round, it's hard to really be like that anyway. But
this was the first game that kind of really mattered going into the NBA Finals. And I'll tell you why. So Houston's, I think they're up by a bucket, and then the Lakers, they go up by 1 going into the fourth quarter. And, man, Rondo turned it on. Playoff Rondo is kind of a real thing. Kind of bizarre. But good for him. He's going to be a weird one that goes on the, just NBA pantheon of players. Like Celtics. He's racked up a ton of assists. He's got some really good years. Playoff Rondo becomes a thing. He was hurt. He finishes 8 of 11 from the field. 3 of 5 from 3. Rajon Rondo, for years, who couldn't shoot. Famously couldn't shoot. Would be the number one guy you'd say, can't shoot.
Guard that can't shoot.
They
Rondo.
used to, not guard him at all. He finishes with 21 points, 9 assists, really good defense. He steals the ball from Harden that essentially, ends the game on the inbounds play. And more importantly, man, they just turned up the defensive screws. LeBron went nuts. And that whole defense, AD with a big steal. LeBron James, though, finishes with 36 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Anthony Davis with 26, 15, and 6 assists. And, man, they just look good. Kuzma with a backbreaker. He goes 7 of 10 from the field. 14 points. A couple of those were late, but there was a basket in this game if you watched it. Houston was doing everything they could to fight back, and then Kuzma got an offensive rebound that was just the backbreaker. And, that's who Kyle Kuzma is. He's not a stud of all studs or whatever it is. I think it just showed up on the screen there. But, man, he will break your back, and I think he's a really good fit with that team. So it was cool seeing some people in the chat asking about Rondo. You got to understand, Rondo's 34 at this point. Rondo was written off a few times. Yes, he did some cool stuff for the Celtics, but to see him do that again was pretty cool. And by the way, Houston did, and this is probably scary if you're Houston, you shot 40% from 3. You made all of your free throws, and you still lost this game. And that's kind of what they do. They were missing Daniel House, which he's a nice piece. I think he had 14 off the bench the other night. Who knows how that changes this game. And Russ ends up with a good box score, but the second half of this game, Russ wasn't great. I don't know, man. When I tuned into this, I saw the Lakers team play NBA championship basketball. So that's why I thought it was the game of the night. BBD, I see something on your mind.
The Lakers they have LeBron. They were the favorites because of that alone.
Yes.
But they're playing together right now. The way Rondo's played the whole series has been really impressive because I don't think did he play at all before this round? He had the hand thing.
I'm not sure which game he came back.
I think he made it back last round. But he's played very well. And I'm one of the big like Rondo slander guys. I just
like
don't.
that.
I don't like watching him. I don't like his fit when he's on the court with LeBron.
Sure.
But like last few years, he's like showed up in the playoffs, whether it's here in that Bulls series a couple years ago. He does show up when he needs to. He's turned himself into a more than capable
shooter. That's what he was
you have
missing
to
for
go out
years.
and guard him, which is a big difference. The rest of the skill set, I still don't love the fit, and I still think they play him a little too much. But he's played incredible this series. So, like, I'm not trying to knock him.
Wow.
But yes.
Rondo hater alert.
Kind of. Yes. He's been great. He's been great.
Lakers turned on the screws. I think Houston in the fourth quarter, they were like more than midway through the fourth quarter, they were held to 7 points. This is supposed to be, the most prolific offensive team that basketball can put together on a computer. The Lakers turned it up. Interested to see if Houston bounces back. I'd expect them to still get 1, possibly 2, and, this series could still go 7, but after watching what the Lakers can do, I don't know. I think the Lakers could move on easier than we thought.
Yeah.
Easier than we thought. So
and LeBron with extra rest in between if they move quick.
Hopefully this is all building up for Lakers Clippers anyways, because I think that'd be pretty awesome. So that was the game of the night.